Find other great podcasts like this one at podmoth.network.
Hi, my name is Joe, and I'm the host of Tales, Trails, and Taverns. In this show, Rob and I like to take an active approach by hiking out to haunted, creepy, and abandoned places. We love the adventure and discovering the dark history of the locations we visit. We release a new episode every Friday on Apple, Spotify, and Patreon, as well as bonus episodes on varying Tuesdays. But don't just take my word for it, we have great listeners who have left some awesome reviews.
I love adventure, but during those times when I can't get to the outback, I like to listen to Tales, Trails, and Taverns. Those boys dig deep into the dark history, and their first-hand experiences really delivers the excitement. This podcast is a beaut.
Back when I was the governor, I didn't have time to listen to podcasts. But now that I'm retired from politics, I can focus on my two passions, pumping iron and listening to Tales, Trails, and Taverns.
It doesn't matter who we are. What matters is that we all listen to Tales, Trails, and Taverns.
I love listening to the podcast. Wait, what's a podcast again?
It's an audio show you listen to.
Oh, like on the radio?
Sort of, yeah.
Okay. I love listening to Tulips and Tiddlywinks.
It's Tales, Trails, and Taverns.
And what do you do again?
Hike to scary places and drink beer.
Sounds terrifying. Okay. I like to listen to Terrifying Tea Time, but not on the radio.
Okay, thank you. You did great.
You're welcome. Say, you're kind of cute. Is there a Mrs. Tales, Trails, and Taverns?
Now you get it?
No actual celebrities or political figures have endorsed Tales, Trails, and Taverns. All the reviews you've heard were written, poorly, by the host, George Lennox, as well as the impersonations of celebrities, politicians, and movie characters. I meant no harm. Please don't sue me.
Are you tired of this reality? Us too. How about once a week you take a break and visit a different reality? In Jack Billings Presents Haunted Apartment Complex, we bring you a comedy podcast full of ghosts, werewolves, gentle vampires, and Frankenstein monstrosities made of 72 people stitched together. And somehow, that's not even the strange stuff. A proud member of the Podmoth Network. Every Tuesday, wherever you get your podcasts. There's nothing wrong with your audio. I've been a ghost this whole time. Shyamalan twist.
Welcome to the Brutal, Bizarre, and Boozy podcast. I'm Deklan, the son.
And I'm Jane, the mom. This is the podcast where we talk about brutal crimes, bizarre occurrences, and get you drunk with cocktails themed around one of our stories. To lighten things up, we'd like to end our time with a chaser. Please keep in mind some of our stories might be upsetting to young or sensitive ears.
We love hearing from our listeners, so feel free to contact us by email or social media. You can find our contact info in the show notes for this episode. If you'd like to support us through Patreon, you can find us there at Brutal, Bizarre, and Boozy Podcast, or use the link in our show notes.
Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for joining us yet again for another episode of Brutal, Bizarre, and Boozy. How are you today, Mom?
I'm doing well. Thank you. How are you, Deklan?
I'm doing pretty good. What story do you have for us today?
I'm going to be talking about another story involving a suitcase. In episode 137, we covered the case of Melanie McGuire, who was often referred to as the suitcase murderer. And if you haven't heard that episode, make sure to go back and check it out. But as a refresher on that story, McGuire killed her husband and then dismembered his body and hid the body parts in a set of suitcases, which is why she was called the suitcase murderer.
I am going to be talking about a list of a couple different lost treasures that haven't been recovered. Well, we'll get into it. But to go with it, I have the cocktail, the Island Treasure. To make this cocktail, you need 1.5 ounces of spiced rum, 2 cherries, 2 lime quarters, some club soda, and some ice cubes. Place the cherries and lime quarters in the highball glass containing a few ice cubes. Add the rum, top with club soda, stir using a mixing spoon. I think this is going to be pretty gross because I'm not a huge fan of spiced rum.
And it's pretty much just spiced rum. I mean,
and soda, yeah.
If you muddled the cherries and the limes, but they don't tell you to do that.
Yeah.
It just says put them in the glass. So they're just in there for looks and shits and giggles, I guess.
Let's give it a try.
Yeah.
That's not good.
It's not good.
It's just watered down spiced rum. I don't taste the bubbly.
No, that's
bubbly
gross.
Can't save it.
No. Ugh, I gotta rinse my mouth out. We might have to pause so I can go brush my teeth because that was
foul.
Yeah, I should have brought down a snack to get the flavor
or
out of my mouth.
backup beverage.
Yes, a backup.
Okay, so let's get into these lost treasures. I've got a couple of them that I'm going to talk about.
I want to find them.
Me too. Especially there's one that's in U.S. waters. So
okay.
Yeah, and it's interesting. So
are they all in water? Because I don't really want to go diving.
One of them is not. The rest are.
Okay.
So I'm gonna fuck up the pronunciation on this, but I'm gonna try my best. So the first treasure I'm gonna talk about is the Bell of Dhammazedi. Okay. This bell was ordered to be crafted by King Dhammazedi in 1484. The king wanted the largest bell he could possibly get, and is believed that this was the largest bell ever produced. It was approximately, I say approximately because they measured in a weird measurement that was from the tip of your finger to your forearm. So It's different for Roman. It's called like a centent or something like that, but it's different in Roman or Egyptian, but roughly 36 feet tall by 25 feet wide and weighed approximately, get this, 294 tons.
Whoa.
Yes.
It's a bell?
A bell.
Like a ding dong bell.
Like a Philadelphia bell.
Yeah. Okay.
It was cast using silver, gold, copper, and tin. King Dhammazedi, he had an astrologer who advised him to postpone casting the bell because it was the inauspicious time of the crocodile constellation.
Oh, my
Don't know what that means.
Lord.
He predicted that the bell would not produce any sound. After the bell was completed, it reportedly had a very unpleasant tone. In 1583, Gasparo Balbi, an Italian gem merchant, visited the Shwedagon Pagoda and described King Dhammazedi Bell in his diary as being engraved from top to bottom with writing that he could not decipher. Neither could they, which was weird.
Okay.
European explorers and merchants began to make contacts in Lower Burma in the early 16th century. Felipe de Brito, a Portuguese warlord and mercenary known as Zinca to the Burmese, arrived in Lower Burma sometime in the 1590s. At that time, Cerium was the most important seaport in Burma.
Burma. Back then it was Burma. It's not Burma anymore.
Yes. It's Myanmar, I believe, now.
I believe so, yeah.
In 1599, De Brito led an Arkansas force which sacked Cerium and Pegu, which is also known as Boga in modern-day Myanmar. The king of Arakan appointed him as governor of Cerium, and by 1600, De Brito had extended his power across the Bago River to Dagon and the surrounding countryside. De Brito declared independence from the Arkansas king in 1603 and established Portuguese rule under Ayres de Saladon. In 1608, De Brito and his men removed the Dhammazedi bell from the Swagon Pagoda and rolled it down a hill to the raft on the Pazudong Creek. From here, the bell was hauled by elephants to the Bago River. The bell and raft were lashed to his flagship for the journey across the river to Cerium to be melted down and made into cannons. The load was way too heavy, weighing 294 tons.
Yeah.
And where was I at? Oh, load provided too heavy, and the confluence of the Bego and the Yangon rivers, which is known as the Monkey Point, where the two rivers met, was very, very aggressive waters, and the ship broke and the bells sunk to the bottom.
Okay.
Many people have tried to find the bell, so far without success. Professional deep sea diver James Blunt has made 115 exploratory dives using sonar images and objects in the area for guidance. The search is complicated by the presence of at least 3 shipwrecks in that area.
Ooh.
The water is muddy and visibly extremely poor. Visibility is extremely poor, I should say. And the bell could be buried in up to 25 feet of mud and is thought to rest between the wrecks of 2 Dutch East Indiaman ships, the Comane and the Koning David, along with a small piece of De Brito's ship covering it up. So
wow,
it's really hard for them to find it. Many other attempts to locate the bell have been made, however, none have proven successful. The next treasure I will be talking about is the Scepter of Dagobert. The Scepter of Dagobert is believed to be one of the oldest pieces of the French crown jewels, traditionally dated back to the 7th century, associated with King Dagobert I. What a fucking name.
Yeah.
According to historical tradition, it was crafted by the goldsmith Saint Eligius, a revered figure of the early medieval Frankish court. The scepter was made of gold with intricate filigree and enamel work, and its most distinctive feature was a small figure mounted atop depicting a man seated on an eagle, symbolizing divine authority and royal power.
Wow.
Itchy nose. For centuries, it was kept in the royal treasury at the Basilica of Saint Denis, the burial site of French kings, although it wasn't always the primary coronation scepter used in later monarchies. It carried enormous symbolic weight as a relic of the earliest French kingship and the Merovingian dynasty. Objects like this weren't just decorative, they represented the ruler's authority, often tied to divine legitimacy. As for value, it's difficult to assign a precise modern price because the scepter no longer exists, and it was historically priceless given its cultural background.
Oh.
Even in its own time, its worth went far beyond materials like gold. It was a unique cultural and political artifact, and if it were to resurface today, historians and collectors would likely consider it virtually invaluable, potentially worth tens or even hundreds of millions of dollars due to its age, rarity, and historical importance. But what happened to it? Well, the story turns mysterious here. During the turmoil of the French Revolution, many royal treasures were destroyed, melted down, or looted. The Scepter of Dagobert survived the initial wave of destruction, but was stolen in 1795 from Saint Denis, and it has never been recovered.
Wow.
Today, it's officially listed among history's lost treasures, making it not just valuable, but one of the more intriguing unsolved disappearances tied to European royal artifacts.
Wow.
And when I hear stuff like this, I think of just some rich ass dude who's like, yeah, you want to see what I got?
Yeah. It's just in a closet.
Yeah, he's got like just a glass case around it.
Yep.
So this one's pretty interesting. The RMS Republic. So the RMS Republic was a luxury passenger liner built in 1903 for the White Star Line. Same company later responsible for the Titanic, if that is a foreshadowing for anything.
Whoops.
It was known as the Millionaire's Ship. It carried wealthy passengers along with immigrants between U.S. and Europe. In January 1909, while sailing from New York towards Mediterranean ports, it entered a dense fog off Nantucket and collided with the Italian liner SS Florida. Thanks to one of the earliest uses of wireless distress signals, nearly everyone on board was rescued, making it a landmark moment in maritime history.
That's good.
Oh my God. My nose
So
is
it's-
so itchy.
So it's not didn't have the same fate as Titanic as far as
No.
the loss of lives. Gotcha.
Most people were able to be saved because it was so close to the shore.
Okay.
So one of the first uses of radio signals like that. Lulu, what are you doing? She's going crazy back there. But yeah, most of the people were saved. The wreck itself is one of the more famous, almost saved disasters. After the collision, the Republic stayed afloat for nearly 2 days and was even taken under tow from another boat. But flooding worsened, and it eventually sank to about 200 to 270 feet below the surface, just off the coast of Nantucket. This relatively shallow depth by ocean standards has made it a long-time target for salvage crew and treasure hunters. What fuels the legend is the ship's rumored cargo. Lulu, knock it off. Contemporary reports and later research suggest it may have been carrying anywhere from $200,000 to $3 million in gold coins. The coins were intended for U.S. Navy payroll and other international shipments.
Wow.
There is no definitive manifest for the contents of the ship, but they know that there was a lot of gold coins used for payroll. Most reports say $3 million worth. But even in the upper estimates, that would put it at hundreds of millions of dollars of gold in today's standard.
Yeah. I'll take that.
As for recovery, the story remains unresolved. Multiple salvage attempts dating back as early as 1919 tried to reach the ship's interior, but harsh conditions, depth, and structural collapse have reportedly stopped progress. Despite decades of effort and modern expeditions, no confirmed gold has ever been recovered from the Republic.
Wow.
Today, it sits as both a historical wreck and a persistent treasure mystery. And this one's the weirder one, in my opinion. The Tucker Cross. In 1850, while cruising the outer reefs of Bermuda, Teddy Tucker, who was a diver, saw 6 cannons laying in the sand between 2 reefs. 5 years later, he returned for a proper look. The wreck he had found was determined to be the Spanish ship San Pedro 1595. Over several visits, Teddy found ship timbers, porcelain coins, and a small 5-sided gold cube, gold ingots, and pearl buttons. During an enforced break due to a period of bad weather, Teddy dreamt of the wreck. A dream so vivid that he woke up his wife, Edna, to tell her about it. His dream centered around a particularly large coral head on the site. Below, in his dream, he found gold. When the weather improved, he returned to the wreck and to that coral head. Within minutes, he found a bar of gold weighing 1 kilogram. Teddy then exposed a piece of ship's planking under the coral, which he found an ornate gold cross studded with emeralds. The San Pedro treasure was the first to be found on Bermuda's reef. The most significant item in the collection was the golden emerald cross, which became known as Tucker's Cross. With an intricate design, it consisted of 4 pieces, which could be dismantled. The back could be removed to reveal a shallow recess to hold a sacred relic, they believe. The 7 emeralds were determined to be among the purest ever analyzed.
Wow.
The Tucker Cross and associated treasure was described as the most significant found in the Western Hemisphere. The Bermudan government claimed ownership of the treasure as Bermuda's territorial seabed was part of the British Crown Estate. In response, Teddy told them that if that was the case, he would take it all back to the reef and they could look for it themselves.
Yeah, no kidding.
Teddy retained ownership of the treasure. The Tucker Cross alone was valued at over $250,000 at the time. And despite being approached with offers to purchase the cross, Teddy agreed to sell the full treasure haul to the Bermuda government for £35,000. In 1975, the treasure from the San Pedro was transported from the Bermuda Aquarium to the Bermuda Maritime Museum to be shown to Queen Elizabeth II. Moments before the Queen arrived, Teddy inspected the display and noticed that the Tucker Cross had been replaced by a replica.
Oh.
Concerned that the Queen would recognize a fake, he removed the replica, its gold veneer still tacky to the touch, before presenting the remaining treasure to the Queen. Nobody involved claimed to know that a replica had been used, and the point at which the swap was made was unknown. The subsequent police investigation failed to uncover any reliable leads, and to this date, the real Tucker Cross has never been found.
Wow.
I bet you that dude took it.
I would.
Sure, it was a replica.
Yep.
I own it. I'm taking it back.
Yep. No kidding, right? I found it. Finders keepers.
Yep.
I mean, that's the first rule.
I just think of like all these missing treasures. I'm like, if you had that and you're just a super rich dude, I would totally if you had endless money, I'd be like, I need to get my hands on that.
Yes.
I need a black market art
sure.
dealer or some shit.
Yep. I'll take it. That's cool. I like the Tucker Cross. I want it.
Did you look up a picture of it?
I did. It looks
pretty cool. They need to make a movie on that.
Yeah. Okay. Are you ready for my suitcase story?
No, but yes.
Okay. As I mentioned earlier, this case involves a suitcase, and it is our brutal story for the week, so it's obviously not a good story. But I will say it's not as gross as the one from episode 137, because that one was pretty gnarly. It does have the suitcase in common, but there's a few differences, so let's discuss those. In February of 2020, 42-year-old Sarah Boone called 911 to report her boyfriend, Jorge Torres Jr., was dead. The couple lived together in an apartment in Winter Park, Florida. When first responders arrived, they found George unresponsive inside the suitcase, and he was pronounced dead at the scene. Boone explained to investigators that the day before, she and George had spent the day together in their apartment. According to Boone, they enjoyed some wine and then decided to play a fun little game of hide and seek.
I know this fucking story. Oh
my
God, I fucking hate this.
Yes. The game involved George climbing into a suitcase and then Sarah closing the suitcase with him in it. She further claimed...
I'd like to say that's not hide and seek if you know he's in the suitcase.
That's exactly where I was going. Yes. I mean, hide and seek. This story is missing the crucial seek part because she knows where he is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
It's not like someone else put him in there and she's seeking.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. She further claimed that they laughed about him being in the suitcase, but she got tired, so she went upstairs and fell asleep. When she woke up the next morning, George was dead. She remembered that George had been in the suitcase, so she went and unzipped it to realize that George wasn't responding, and then she called 911. Initially, police thought the scene might have just been a tragic accident, but that changed fairly quickly due to some inconsistency in her story and injuries to George's body. At first, Boone claimed that she believed George could get out of the suitcase on his own, so she just left him in there. She was like, he can get out. It's fine. He's zipped in there, but it's all good. Investigators disagreed, thinking it would be nearly impossible for a grown adult to get out of a suitcase from the inside when it had been zipped on the outside.
Yeah.
They also noticed that his body showed evidence of physical trauma. Boone later admitted to hitting George with a baseball bat while he was trapped inside the bag. You know, as you do.
Yeah.
Some of the most damning evidence came directly from Boone's phone, which she willingly turned over to law enforcement. It turned out that while George was inside the suitcase, Boone grabbed her phone and recorded some videos in which George could be heard saying he couldn't breathe and asking for help to get out of the bag.
Oh my God.
Yes. It's like
Jesus
the
Christ.
dumbest. She's not smart. The videos captured George struggling while Sarah mocked him. Boone made comments during the recording about how George had choked her and cheated on her in the past. She claimed she didn't remember making the videos before going to bed, which was irrelevant because her voice is very clear in the video. She just didn't remember recording them, I would assume, because she gave her phone to police officers and was like, yeah, here you go. You can look at my phone. And they were like, what's this video of a guy in a suitcase? And then listen to it. And she's talking smack about.
How fucking big of a suitcase is it? I don't think they make a suitcase big enough for me to fit in.
No, I don't think so. I don't think he was a very large.
Still, do you think
man.
You could fit in a suitcase?
Yes. And I have.
Oh, okay.
Because we got new suitcases and joked about how big it was and whether or not I could fit in it. And then I got in and told your dad that
Dad started beating you with a baseball bat.
He did not beat me with a baseball bat. He also did not close it. It was just whether or not I could fit inside of the suitcase. I don't know if he could have closed it. I didn't want to find out, but I did say that in the future, I might use that against him if he,
Jesus,
pissed me off. I could be like, well, this one time my husband put me in a suitcase, as you do sometimes when you're being silly. After viewing the videos, law enforcement no longer believed that George's death was an accident, and they arrested Boone the day after she called 911. So fairly quickly after the incident. She was charged with second-degree murder. The autopsy confirmed George had suffered blunt force trauma and had died from asphyxiation, which should have been a relatively straightforward homicide prosecution stretched on for years. The case experienced repeated delays involving multiple attorney withdrawals, scheduling problems, the COVID-19 lockdowns, and later even weather-related postponements connected to a hurricane. Jesus. All these things. Yeah. Her legal representation was a major issue, with 8 different attorneys withdrawing from the case over the years.
That's not normal.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
At one of her hearings, she represented herself and displayed a handwritten advertisement looking for an attorney. And because it was a popular case in the media, so she was like, I'm going to advertise on TV.
Was she in custody the whole
attorney.
time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I believe so. Prior to the trial starting, Boone was offered a plea deal to plead guilty to manslaughter for a 15-year sentence, but she rejected the offer and the case went to trial. 4 years after the fact, the trial began in 2024, and by the time she was on her 9th attorney.
Goddamn.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Her defense focused on the tumultuous relationship between Boone and George and developed a battered spouse syndrome argument. Boone's attorneys claimed that George had physically abused her throughout the relationship and argued that years of violence and trauma affected her mental state during the incident. There were repeated domestic violence reports to law enforcement prior to George's death, with each one of them being named as the aggressor on different occasions. So that sounds like
it was mutual combat a lot of times, and they were fighting and somebody reported somebody else. Not that that's an excuse to lock someone in a suitcase. It's not. Defense attorneys also introduced photographs of injuries Sarah allegedly suffered during the relationship. But prosecutors argued that regardless of the couple's toxic history, George was helpless inside the suitcase and posed no threat when Boone chose to leave him trapped in the suitcase. They maintained that she intentionally trapped him inside the suitcase and ignored his desperate pleas for help. Boone testified during the trial in her own defense. She admitted to zipping George inside the suitcase, but claimed she never intended for him to die. She testified that she believed he could escape on his own and said the situation started as playful joking before escalating emotionally. She also admitted to hitting the suitcase with a baseball bat at one point while George was inside. Prosecutors argued this further demonstrated intentional violence, and the cell phone videos became the emotional centerpiece of the prosecution's case. Jurors watched as George struggled and pleaded from inside the suitcase while Boone taunted him instead of helping him.
Ugh.
It took years for the trial to start, but the deliberations were very quick. In less than 2 hours, the jury returned a guilty verdict, and Boone was convicted of second-degree murder. She was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. And when she got her sentence, she was probably kicking herself because she turned down the plea agreement for 15 years.
Why was it not first degree? I feel like if she left him in there, it would make it first degree.
I think, well, my guess is it wasn't premeditated to make him get in there. And maybe she just saw the opportunity once he went in there and she was like, oh, I'm just going to leave him.
Jesus.
That would be my guess, but I don't know. Either way, she is doing life.
Good.
With no parole.
That's such a shitty way to go.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
You have a chaser for us?
I do have a chaser. My chaser is another audio drama recommendation. And this one is for a podcast audio drama called National Emergency, which is about a guy who lost his wife. And in the midst of all of this, everyone's phones and radios and electronics have an emergency alert that goes off, and there are specific instructions that you're supposed to follow with the emergency. And if you don't, then something happens to other people around you.
It shows I've listened to all the episodes, but I can't remember. It sounds familiar, but I don't.
Yeah, I just told you about it last week. And you listened to it on your drive.
Oh, yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah. It's a really good story. I like it a lot. I've recommended it to a couple of people, and everybody's been liking it.
Yeah, I love audio drama. It's hard to find one that I don't like.
There's been a few. One was recommended to me, and it's got like, I don't know how many seasons, this one that was recommended, and I can't even remember the name of it, but Dad and I were listening to it on a long car ride, and I got like an episode and a half in, and I was like, I can't do it anymore. The acting was so bad.
Yeah.
And the fact that there were like 7 or 8 or 9 seasons or whatever, I was like, how are there so many seasons when
one of the main characters made me want to throw my phone out the window so I wouldn't have to listen to it anymore.
Yeah. I just wish they'd make more Tower 4. That's easily the best audio drama.
That's a good one. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. This one's pretty good too, National Emergency. I really liked it. I wish there were more. It's new, so there's only one season out of it, and it leaves you on quite a cliffhanger.
Hate that.
Yes. What's your chaser today?
My chaser is a YouTube show called Last Meals. Specifically the Alton Brown episode, because I like Alton Brown a lot. But
yes,
they get a collection. It's either like 3 or 4 different meals of what someone would have if they were on death row or eating their final meal. And the host will ask them about it and ask them existential questions and stuff like, oh, why did you choose oyster shooters as your final meal, and go into detail about that. And it's interesting kind of like look into, like, there's a bunch of celebrities that have been on there, like Tom Segura, Bert Kreischer, like everyone you can think of, like they've probably been on there or are going to be on there soon. But it's an interesting little show.
Yeah, you had me watch a couple episodes and I really liked it. And I love food and talking about food and experiencing food. And so when I can see other people do those things, I enjoy it.
Yes, me too.
No more yawning.
Yeah, well, I think it's just about that time. Wrapped up.
It is.
Today's episode. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thanks for listening. We appreciate it. Please tell all your friends. Share our podcast with others.
Yes. All right.
Love you, bud. Bye.
Bye.
Hey, friends. Thank you for supporting our podcast. Please share our show with your brutal and bizarre friends. Give us a Boozy follow on your favorite podcast platform. If you're feeling extra generous, we'd appreciate a 5-star rating or review as well. But maybe do that sober so all the letters are in the right place.
You can find all our contact information in the show notes. We love hearing from you, and if you're interested in helping us stock the bar for our future Boozy episodes, you can find our Patreon link in the show notes as well.